What's up? Oh my god, I hate this because this is like the 7th time I've tried recording this. I hope this is the last, honestly. They say 5th time's a charm, 3rd time's a charm, but those ships have sailed and probably, gotten shipwrecked or something. Anyways, I watched The Lighthouse and I've seen Dr. Sleep, and I am extremely grateful to have seen both of those because they were two of my most anticipated movies of the year, and I can gladly and happily say that they are two of the best movies to come out this year. The Lighthouse is an extremely just dark, it's like literally also dark, an atmospheric movie, just very claustrophobic, quite literally with its framing, because it's only in like 4:3 aspect ratio and it's black and white filmed on negatives, and it's basically this powerhouse of acting by Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, and I don't know if he will get nominated for an Oscar for Best Actor, but he, my goodness, deserves it, Best Actor for this movie. Like, Robert Pattinson is freaking amazing. Like, I will never call him the guy from Twilight after this. It would just be, Twilight was one of the things that this guy did. Because, my God, he is amazing in this movie. If you don't watch this movie for any, if you just won't watch this movie just for Robert Pattinson. And Willem Dafoe, not to overshadow it or anything, it very much is both of these two guys' performances, because if one of them didn't work, the other one would be like way too over the top. But the thing is, both of them work remarkably well, and they need to, because it's basically only these two guys in the movie. Like, the entirety of the screen time is only shared by them, and there's like two other there's only like two other people that you see on screen, but like they don't have lines. It's basically, I've said basically so many times, it's only these guys, and they knock it out of the park 100%. So I think Willem Dafoe also deserves a lot of credit, probably like a Best Supporting Actor or a Best Actor for him as well, because one of the posters said it's Robert Pattinson versus Willem Dafoe, and it's as simple as that. And I really think it is as simple as that. This movie is amazing. It's dark, atmospheric, it's trippy, it's mind-bendy, it's everything that you would expect in an A24 horror movie that's also really, really, really funny. Like, I and the entire theater just laughed our asses off in this screening. And we were not expecting it to be as funny as it was. And I think that's part of it. It just kind of, like, there aren't really any jump scares in this movie, which is great. But also, it was kind of, what really did surprise and shock us was how funny it was. And I'm sure you won't expect it to be as funny as it actually is. Some truly just gut-busting moments of laughter produced by this movie, so really well done. Really just a really good movie, really well-made movie, really interesting, original. In terms of originality, it's basically just two guys kind of losing their minds over the course of their stay at this lighthouse. So take from that what you will. Like, that's the general plot line, but obviously whatever happens as they lose their minds is different. So, it is what it is. And the next movie I saw, Dr. Sleep. Dr. Sleep, oh man, I love this movie. I absolutely love this movie. I know that I've talked about how Haunting of Hill House is probably the best show on Netflix. Just amazing, amazing stuff on that show. So if you haven't seen that, definitely watch that show, because it has great acting, great score, great editing, great cinematography, great directing. Just everything is amazing with that show. And Mike Flanagan does not disappoint with this. He's made Ouija Origin of Evil, Hush, Oculus, Gerald's Game, This guy knows how to make good horror, and this old lady, I swear, old ladies cannot drive because, oh man, use your turn signal. Goodness. Anyways, Mike Flanagan has made a masterpiece of a movie here. I love Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's one of my favorite horror movies ever, and this sequel lives up to it, and I hesitate to call it a sequel. I'm just calling it a sequel because everybody else calls it a sequel, which is not a good reason to call it a sequel. But, oh man, this movie is good. It's the next story. It's the next chapter in the story following Danny Torrance and how he deals with what happened at the Overlook Hotel when he was a kid. And, spoiler alert, actually not really a spoiler, he becomes a drunk. And he's just kind of living life on the ropes. And it's not good. But man, this movie surprised me. I didn't really know much about the story expecting. Going in, I was expecting good stuff because it's Mike Flanagan and the guy has made one of my favorite TV shows ever. But like, wow. I wasn't expecting it to be this good. This movie has some of the best cinematography I've seen, and I mean, The Shining has some of the best cinematography I've seen. This movie is great. The kid in this is great. Everybody, all the actors in this movie are great. Just, wow, this is a top-notch movie in terms of everything that they put on screen. I will say that the third act, they go back to the Overlook Hotel and they start having a bunch of callbacks to The Shining. Some of the callbacks, and most of them, work really, really well. But then there's maybe one or two that I feel like they took it a step too far, and I was just like, alright, I appreciated all of this other stuff because it's just glorious, amazingly well done fan service. But then they took it a step too far, and that's where it kind of soured just a little bit on me. I think the best way to describe it is if you're drinking a milkshake, whatever kind of milkshake, strawberry, cookies and cream's my favorite. So if you're drinking a really good milkshake and there's whipped cream on top, you get to the end and there's the whipped cream, okay? And I really like the whipped cream, and when the whipped cream mixes in, I'll call the whipped cream the Shining references, alright? The whipped cream, when you're getting towards the end, is the Shining stuff. And it's really nice. It's really well done, and it mixes wonderfully with the cookies and cream milkshake that's already been going on for the other 2 hours of the movie. And then it just, maybe they were a little bit overindulgent with the whipped cream. Do you not like whipped cream? I mean, I like whipped cream on the milkshake, but too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, and I think that's like it's a nitpick for sure, but that's just like the one gripe I had with the movie. They just took it a tad too far with The Shining. But honestly, other than that, really good stuff. Just 100% really good stuff. The Lighthouse or Dr. Sleep. Dr. Sleep's way more conventional and a lot more accessible in terms of a movie. The Lighthouse definitely has like an unresolved ending, and it will for sure warrant a lot of rewatches because they do actually talk how they talked in the 1890s, at least what we would write them to how they would talk in the 1890s. So I would definitely want to rewatch that movie, The Lighthouse, with subtitles just so I can fully understand the words that they're saying, because they speak like we would speak, you know? They don't talk like to properly enunciate and all those things. They talk like normal people would talk, which is good because, you know, acting. But that sometimes maybe I don't understand every single word they're saying. But, you know, great acting. We still understand most of what they mean when they say these certain things because, you know, they're emoting like we would normally emote. So you can pick up things from body language, you know? Great acting. Showcase, The Lighthouse, you know? Really good stuff. Both movies are great. I love horror movies, and I haven't always loved horror movies because I thought that they were cheap and they were just used to, like, you know, scare people with, like, loud noises and jolts. But honestly, as I've grown to just appreciate really good movies, I've come to notice that the best horror movies have some of the best filmmaking ever. And I'm really a fan of really good filmmaking, so I will keep watching horror movies, and I won't, like, discount any movie just because it's in said genre, you know? I feel like that is ludicrous. But yeah, those are just kind of my quick thoughts. The Lighthouse and Dr. Sleep. Both are really good movies. Both are great choices if you want to go see something great. But yeah, have a good one. I'm going to go to work, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.